Hi guys, and welcome back to the office. This is my series where I'm trying to save up money for my own apartment. If you are new here, this is week 3. So my total for my sales this month so far, where we left off last week, was $1,295.75. And let's see what I sold this week, and then we will tally it all up. I'm trying to save up at least $2,000 to $4,000. What I don't think I mentioned in the other videos is that is after all of my bills and my expenses, and for like reselling and yeah. So I need to save $2,000 to $4,000. So that means I need to sell a lot more than that. So, all right. First off, this week we sold a Fall Raven utility vest, and that sold for let's see, $42. And then we have next, we have the Anthropologie chino pants, and those sold for $39.99. And then I sold a vintage 90s Stanford University like sweatshirt, I guess. It's like a windbreaker. And that sold for $38. And then the next thing I sold was a Life is Good backpack. That sold for $20. And then I sold this Sunday Swagger polo shirt, and that sold for $15. And then this Brixton, what is it? Oh, it was a hat. I sold this Brixton hat, and that sold for $11. And then I have a pair of board shorts. The brand was Mollusk. It's a local California brand, and that sold for $39.99. And then I love these. I was so sad to get rid of them. I think I showed them in one of the last videos, but they were a pair of vintage Y2K, very Y2K style Banana Republic, a beautiful denim piece, and those sold for $35, which I felt like they probably were worth more than that. And then I sold a pair of Vuori pants for $23. And then I sold this beautiful Taylor Stitch shacket that I was very excited to find in the thrift store. I love finding Taylor Stitch. They're just great pieces. And that sold for $89. And I remember I found that one for like $12, so that was a good sale. And then a pair of equestrian, like kids breeches that I think I got at the bins, for $15. And then I sold a mini Bowden girls jacket for $34. I think I got that for $1 at a yard sale. And then, a really exciting sale came in the day after my birthday this week, which was a vintage Coach purse that I think I found for like $40 at a Savers, and it sold for $300. I took an offer because it didn't have the hang tag, and apparently the hang tag adds some value. I think that's kind of dumb because it's just like a little piece of leather, but yeah, it is what it is. So I had it listed for $350 and took an offer for $300. And then this really fun, like, whimsical boho top that the brand was Shop Therapy. That was like a more style-based piece. I would have put it in my booth, but I've been listing all my booth items on eBay for now because I'm not going to have a booth until this one called, I always forget what it's called. I think it's called Ivy Clover. I always forget this name. But it's a local buy-sell trade store or like consignment store. Not a buy-sell trade. Here in Phoenix. And they're opening a location closer to me at the end of August. So until then, those items are going on eBay. So excited to sell one of those pieces. It sold for $24.65. And last but not least, the last couple days have actually been kind of slow, which is a little disappointing. But I'm working on listing all of my Salvation Army pieces that I got yesterday. So hopefully the sales start rolling in because I feel like I'm a little behind right now as we only have, I think, less than a week left of July. So anyway, last but not least, I sold a vintage French dressing denim skirt, which is actually another booth item. And that sold for $25. So yeah, I am hoping that I'll have about $1,500 to set aside by the end of July for this goal. So let's look at our totals. This was our total at the end of last week, and this is where we are at now. $2,057.38. So that is my sale so far for the month of July, and I will see you guys next week.